So I'm having a chat with Rob of KillerStar. How are you?
I'm great, thanks.
Good, that's great to hear. So we've been playing a track of yours called "Got Me All Wrong." What can you tell us about the single, first of all?
Yeah, the single. This is the third single release from our upcoming album, which comes out March 1st. And yeah, I mean, it's basically a little bit of a kind of, I guess, a rock kind of glam rock kind of romp. Maybe one way to describe it. Um, we've got a number of guest players on the track. In fact, they're playing on all of the album, which is David Bowie band alumni members like Gail Dorsey, Mike Garson, M. Griner, Earl Slick. So yeah, we had great fun putting that together. And yeah, this has just come out and people seem to like it, which is great.
Yeah, I can well imagine it's been great getting those guests onto your record. How did you go about asking them and getting them on the record?
Yeah, it's basically it all happened in a very organic way. There was no actually we didn't write the songs with the idea of inviting them to play on them. We what we did was we created the songs, did pretty detailed demos with all the instruments on, and then I thought it'd be great to add some female vocals. I know M. Griner, and she was in David's Bowie's band back in the 2000s, so she added some great BVs and harmonies to the tracks, and suggested, hey, if you want a bass player to play on the album, we could ask Gail Ann Dorsey, who played with David for a long time. And she liked the tracks, agreed to play on them, which is fantastic. And from there, just one thing led to another. It's just you almost couldn't make it up, frankly, in terms of hey, maybe we should ask Earl Slick to play some guitar. He checked it out. He'd heard that his ex-bandmates were playing on it. He was interested in it, liked it, and hey presto. So one thing led to another. And I think what ended up happening was um, obviously they all know each other. They played together in the past with Bowie. They're not collaborated on new music for a long time, so they enjoyed doing that. And obviously they know how each other plays and so on. So they added their little flavors, and there's a lot of synchronicity between the players on the album. And it's James Sedge who's my collaborating killer star on drums, and I'm singing and playing guitar and synths. So yeah, that's basically how it happened. All very coincidentally. It was never intended that way. It just happened that way. So quite a nice little story there.
Yeah, for sure. And that's coming off your debut self-titled record out, as you mentioned, on March the 1st. What can people expect to hear when they get a chance to take a listen?
Well, I mean, I hate to, it's always difficult describing your own music. I mean, we feel like it's got a very distinct flavor and sound. And actually, we had a great guy mix the album, Dave Erringer, who's mixed most of the Manic Street Preachers albums. So it's got I'd say, it's got a vintage kind of sensibility, like a 70s kind of rock feel to it, but with a lot of modern influences as well and modern production values. So it's a little bit of a hybrid, I'd say. It's quite widescreen, in terms of there's a lot of detail on the album. If you're an audiophile, and particularly if you're into your vinyl and stuff, you'll probably enjoy picking out little pieces and flavors and nuances in the album. But I think most of the songs, they're pretty catchy. There's a lot of hooks in there, a lot of vocal hooks and harmonies, as well as a lot of crunchy guitar and some pretty ethereal kind of keyboards and some, fantastic piano playing from Mark Garson, who played with Bowie for so long. So yeah, hopefully people enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. And people get to come and see you playing these tracks live when you've got your album launch show on March the 16th. I bet you can't wait to be doing some live stuff.
Yeah, we're really excited to do it because obviously we've lived through these songs for a long time now, writing them and then putting them together, getting them recorded, mixed, and so on. But obviously we've not played them live as a band before. We're really looking forward to that, and of course, it being an album launch will be it's extra special. We've got a number of players, guests who are joining us who played on the album. So Mike Garson on piano, Earl Slick on guitar, M. Griner, Mark Platty on bass, joining us, and then we also got Don Beckin joining us. He's the keyboard player from Saucer Full of Secrets, Nick Mason of Pink Floyd's band. So it's a great lineup, and we're just really looking forward to playing them live. And it's great to play in I think a really authentic club, the 100 Club. I played there a lot in the past, and that's just such a fantastic historic venue in London that's been around since the 50s. It's still family run, and you know, every man and his dogs played there, including, as we found out recently, Bowie, who played there in the 60s before that. He played the last gig there before he changed his name from Davy Jones to David Bowie. So there's a little bit of a coincidence in that as well. So yeah, looking forward to that one.
Yeah, for sure. And are you hoping to be doing more live stuff this year?
Yeah, I mean that's the idea. We to be honest, we were just so focused on getting the album out and seeing how people, you know, are going to like it and react to the singles and get this one show organized. It's, you know, it's nearly sold out, so people seem to be wanting to come and check it out, which is great. So now we'll turn our attention to lining up some other dates, but we don't have them nailed yet.
Yeah, great stuff. I'd like to talk a little bit about the writing side of things as well.
Yeah,
So for you, how do tracks normally start off?
I mean, yeah, they start off as I'd say I'm the songwriter on the in the band, and James on drums is my collaborator, and you know he adds a lot of input into the music. But they start off with me kind of writing the songs, sketch them out in demo form. I'm playing all the instruments at that point, and drum loops. I don't play the drums. Leave that to James. So we sketch them out and then basically record very detailed demos, and then they go to James to add the drums. Sometimes what he puts together changes a little bit the direction of the song, some of the grooves and stuff that he comes up with, and from there, then we you know we detail out all the other parts that need to be either replaced with other, you know, either other players like the guest players we've had, for example, um, or some of it we leave from the demo, and then it goes into mixing. So I think the spark for the song, I guess, is usually the music. It's interesting, you know, when you different artists have different approaches. Sometimes it starts with lyrics, sometimes it starts with music. For me, it really starts with the music, and usually very quickly in the sketch demo stage, I'm coming up with melodies and you know, vocal lines. Sometimes they don't make a lot of sense because they're not written out lyrically, but they tend to be that tends to be the way that I start, and things build from there. Um, and you know, it can come from super fast, you know, a super fast idea, and then putting that down very quickly, or it can be something that just takes a lot longer. You know, there's no rhyme or reason to it, really, to be honest.
And with the lyrics side of things, how easy do the lyrics come to you when you've got the music? Is it a fairly straightforward process, or can it be a challenge at times?
I think usually for me at least, the notion of the lyric and the, you know, maybe the hook line and you know, the basic direction lyrics come quite quickly. Then I think there's a lot of hard graft goes into refining the lyrics and getting them, you know, edited. There's a lot of editing of lines, and I think particularly then when you're singing the lines, you know, you want to really make sure that it's finely edited, and you know that obviously helps deliver vocals. You know, sometimes when you're writing the lyrics out without actually singing them, you know, it can be a little bit too busy. Maybe they don't scan as well when you're singing. So yeah, for me that's the process. Usually the things that I come up with very quickly in the demos, the lines and some of the melodies and some of a few of the words of the lyrics end up being in the final lyric, but they takes time to flesh out, you know, the full lyric for the song.
Yeah, and when it comes to this record, you must have written more than what's made it onto this record. What happens to those now? Do you consider them for next time, or do you bin them off and start
Yeah.
again?
Well, we got, yeah, I mean, it's a good point. We got a lot of other stuff. Um, we've actually got for the songs that are on the album, we've actually got a whole other album done and pressed, of alternate versions of remixes, which we're quite excited about. So we'll release that album after this one, and those are quite interesting because some of them are like stripped back acoustic versions of the songs on the album. Some of them are, you know, straight remixes. Some of them we've like put, you know, we've moved a section around in the song and we've treated it differently. Mark Platty, who plays on the album, um, who was also in Bowie's band, he's also a very accomplished producer and remixer. So he actually did a lot of the work on the alternates for us. It was great to have him, involved in that. So whilst they're the same songs, some of them sound incredibly different. And then that apart, we have other songs that we've written, like you said, that didn't make it into the album, and we're actually, funny enough, just revisiting some of those now. And sometimes it's good to have a bit of time to kind of look back and feel like, yeah, is this something we want to pursue and finish off, or we're not feeling that and should we start again? But yeah, that's the idea, is to get going once we got this album launched, on writing, finishing the writing of the new material. But as mentioned before, then release the alternate version. It's going to be called KillerStar Reimagined, actually, the other album. So yeah, quite a bit going on there.
Awesome. Rob, it's been a pleasure having a chat with you.
Pleasure having a chat with you too. Thanks so much for having me on the show.